you don't even interview the patient unless it's changed their life upside down. Go to bed, doesn't matter. Number two, the sequence, like Nancy said. If they had the same dream last night, listen. Third, recall. If they can reconstruct what went on in the room, maybe 10% or so can, exactly who was doing what when they were flatliners dead, but they were looking on, impossible. This is, no dream can do a recall.
Yeah, we talked about the fact of the EEG, the brain waves are absolutely
Yes.
dead, and they're picking up information from another area, another geographical location.
One fellow was a blind man, recalled what went on in the room, had his sight restored during the period of near-death experience, while he was out of the body. You can have either one, out of the body, near-death, or all together. And then was blind again when he was resuscitated.
Yeah, so the question is, how in the world could he see what was going on in
I
that
don't
room?
know.
Yeah. June, you've heard about these experiences and so on. What do they mean to you? What do they tell you? What conclusions do you draw?
Well, I hear my colleagues talking, and I hear them say Jesus Christ. But I want to know, what about the other religions and the people of the world that see Mohammed, that see Buddha, and why can't they see the person? I feel it's a deity, whatever name you want to give it, because the children that have come back and talked to me, they see the light. Whatever I feel this deity is to that person in that particular time takes them to the light or to another passing. He is, and his all infinite wisdom can take us, these children and the adults. They wouldn't frighten a child by being a man in a white robe that has never heard of Jesus Christ. They see something they're comfortable with. And I feel when we die, if that is of our faith, that's what we see, and that's how we pass over.
Nancy, isn't it true that people across the world, and you got to tell me if this includes some of the letters and information that you have, but don't people see the religious figure that they're familiar with in other cultures, or how does it work?
The example I use is from Star Trek. Year after year, Star Trek. Every week a new galaxy. Every galaxy has a different brand of aliens, and they all speak English. So what speaks to people is what they can receive. For a person who, any of us will report in the words that are available to us. If I am, say, a Burmese illiterate peasant, I will report an experience in Burmese illiterate peasant terms. It may be an identical experience, or as identical as it can be. The spirit of it is the same. The fact, I think, that the words differ, the heart of the experience, and the fact that whoever the experiencers are come back, as Howard has said, with the conviction that there is a God.
Yeah. What we have here is we're all friends, and sometimes friends can disagree, and that's good. And here's where obviously we got different opinions on this. Dave Hunt, the fact is that you also would hold that there might be a deception with some of these experiences. Tell us what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, in my research, and I've interviewed people, not clinically dead people, people on drugs, under hypnosis, in yoga, all around the world. And I can tell you that there is a commonality to this experience. And amazingly, I mean, from my interviews, it conforms precisely to what the Bible says are the 4 lies that the serpent told Eve in the garden.
Which are?
Now that tells me where this is coming from. That God is not personal, but he's a force. That there is no death. A lot of these people come back, and it can encourage people to commit suicide even. We haven't seen that. They come back, oh, no matter what kind of a life I lived, I suppose even a Hitler is embraced by this light. No judgment. That was the second lie of the serpent. God is a force being impersonal isn't going to hassle you with morals, and that then there's this this warm feeling, no death, you don't really die, and these people are saying, I'm not afraid of death anymore. I'm happy to die. I didn't want to come back. The third thing is that you can become like God. If this force is just a force and you can tune in to the infinite with your mind, you know, then we're evolving upwards to godhood. And the fourth lie, the tree of knowledge. Nothing wrong with you except the way you think. You've been caught in the downward spiral of your negative thinking. You have to recognize this potential that we all have and tune into this and be transformed. And I see this under hypnosis, under drugs. By the way, if we all dropped, and I've interviewed many people like this, we all drop acid right now, okay? Suddenly, we are all catapulted into the same landscape. We're seeing the same creatures. We're all experiencing the same thing. Now, you cannot explain that physiologically.
There's no such thing as group hallucination.
There is a common source of inspiration and delusion. Now, it's interesting, and again, what I have seen in discussing this with many people, that Satan sometimes tries to come, the Bible says, he transforms himself into an angel of light. He comes on as a nice being, but he is intrinsically evil, and he can't hide that, and it comes out. This can even explain the hellish experiences, where suddenly that evil comes out. And all I can say is I've correlated this around the world.
Okay, you put a lot on the table, and I'm sure our television audience, as well as people around this room here, have a lot of questions. And I'm going to open this up when we come back from our break with a story that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross told me on our program, so I hope you'll stick with us. Welcome back. We're talking about clinical death experiences, near-death experiences, what people see, and what are the meanings that we draw from these experiences. Obviously, everybody sees the light. We're talking about the fact is that you go through the tunnel and you see the light. And people across the world characterize it either as Muhammad, Jesus, Mary, somebody, okay? And it usually comes from their religious persuasion. The question is, who is that light? Right. Could it be, according to what Dave Hunt is saying, could this be a deception? Now, it was interesting, if anybody thinks there's evil in the world, here's what I asked Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross when she was on the program. I said, do you believe there's an evil force or personage in the universe? She said, oh yeah, there's evil out there. There's been Hitler, there's been Mussolini. We realize there's evil in the world. And I said, well, if this evil spirit or this evil personality that is out there is evil, how evil do you think that he is? Oh, just really bad, because look at all the tough stuff that we have in our world. And I said, well, go one step further. Would he be this evil? That he would give you a good experience, because Kubler-Ross has had a great out-of-body experience with Raymond Moody and with others. And the fact is, would he give you a great out-of-body experience, a complete physical healing, because she had a complete physical healing, and do all of this and make you feel wonderful while you are living for the ultimate goal of actually deceiving you to damn your soul forever? And I remember she stopped and she says, he's not that evil. And now that's the question. Is there anything that rings a bell from your experience with these clinical death experiences that talks about this deception that may or may not be going on?
Oh, yes. In fact, one fellow that was shot in the chest 3 times by a transvestite, and he beat him up. And in the ambulance, he had an experience. It was beautiful. Oh. So when I was interviewing, this was one of the delayed interviews. I hate doing delayed interviews. What was I doing there? Does God ever make mistakes? He was questioning the appropriateness. He had a good experience, life review, everything. He had all the good stuff.
But he was wondering why he was there.
Yeah, because he had killed 2 people in a parking lot a year or 2 before that. He says, it's all compassion, all forgiving light. Gee, I got it made the first time around. And he was thinking of reincarnation, too, because that was the only thing he believed in.
When you were on Phil Donahue, you brought this up of the 2 lights. Give me a scriptural basis for what you were saying. Refresh my memory.
Well, Christ says he's the light. Satan says, no, my name means light, or light bearer. I am the light. Well, which light is which? Which light did they see? They could have seen either one, or any other. Most other religions, there's a light associated. What light did they see?